For merged games and motion twin, we have an indie roguelike Metroidvania, or Roguevania, with incredible artwork and some of the most precise controls I've ever played in a game. This is Dead Cells for the Nintendo Switch. First off, Dead Cells is one of my all-time favorite games for a variety of reasons. I'm not the biggest fan of Metroid and the idea of going through multiple paths, including backtracking, just to find a particular item of need. It always sounded more tedious than fun. I also never liked roguelikes, where in the event of your death, you carry next to nothing into your next run. I hate building a character up just to lose it all, which is largely what this game does. Having to go through a literal maze and having the pressure not to die is more stress than I'm genuinely used to experiencing in a game. This shouldn't be the game for me, yet it's in my top 10. Why? A few factors. One, you collect cells, which are like your currency. You find blueprints for weapons, effects, costumes, you get the idea. In between levels, you use cells to put towards those unlocks. You are actually working for something here. Not to mention, if you get all the way through the game, you unlock the next difficulty, which is indicated by obtaining a boss cell. Each boss cell grants you new perks and more difficult enemies. What I do after beating the game on a particular difficulty is I'll beat the game one more time so I master that difficulty's mechanics before jumping into the next boss cell. The game is as difficult as you want it to be. You can cruise down Easy Street on the standard difficulty, which I find hilarious they simply call it normal difficulty. There's also handicaps you can place upon yourself called aspects that will allow you to play the game on whatever difficulty you choose with the game's assistance. These aspects do prevent you from getting flawless rewards or unlocking the next boss cell, so in practice they're like training wheels before your big boy bike. But using them can perhaps be a tool you can use to build up the knowledge that you'll need to use to get over the hump and clear that difficulty. Everyone has their ceiling, and not everyone will be able to beat the game on the hardest mode, but Dead Cells does enough to try and be accessible to as many people as possible, and I believe it achieves that. There are a ton of weapons to choose from, with more to unlock the further you get in the game. Sometimes you'll just happen upon a blueprint randomly. Other times, there will be certain parameters required in order to unlock them. At the beginning of every run, you pick your weapon and immediately jump into the first level. You may not start with the most ideal weapon, but you'll eventually find it, or find something better, or maybe just get used to the one you have. Each weapon and sub-weapon has their own timing, mechanics, stat buffs, etc. The game does a great job of giving you every chance to try out each weapon the game has to offer, since not all of them are available at the start. The more weapons you unlock, the more you encounter out in the world. The more of an idea you have as to which weapon rollout you should use. I never use a shield, but some people online swear it's absolutely necessary to use one in each of their runs. There are also things called mutations that are absolutely crucial. Certain mutations can be particularly beneficial. For example, the more boss cells you use, the less health you have the option to replenish after every level. That's why I use extended healing to ensure my health gets filled up all the way instead of only filling up a small portion of my life meter. While your health refills, you get a percentage of additional damage that you can deal while your life bar fills up. Stuff like that. It's up to you to choose your 3 mutations wisely depending on your weapons and your playstyle. Combat is my favorite aspect of the game. The controls are tight, and oftentimes, the game requires precision in order to evade or parry enemy attacks. With the number of potential weapons that can randomly pop up in your playthrough, you're always one great weapon away from victory. But the flip side of this is you're always one mistake away from failure. Sometimes everything works out the way you'd like, yet you still lose. There are times I also humored myself with less than stellar items just to find much better weapons along the way and somehow beat the game because I got hot at the right moment. It's a game of skill and chance. I guess that's what makes it such an addictive game. You never know what will happen. The pixel art is superb. From the enemy designs, especially the bosses, to some of these levels, known as biomes in the game. They are meant to be dark and depressing, especially with the tiny bits of story told almost exclusively through exposition found in small areas and moments sprinkled throughout the game. Biomes, like the ramparts, show a rare moment of sunshine, purveying a false sense of optimism that only adds to the already brilliant stage design. I always enjoyed areas like High Peak Castle and the Clock Tower biomes. There are very few games, past or present, that turns pixel art into a setting that looks like it was hand-drawn. The overall dark and dreary settings are conveyed so well by the use of light and shadow, animated like a cartoon. Not many can do it as well as Dead Cells does. If you are new to Dead Cells or you're trying to get over the hump, you're probably wondering what tips I can give you to help get you to the next step. Here are some pointers I've got. Firstly, money is a hot commodity. Do your best to watch how much money you're spending, especially in the harder difficulties, as health becomes more scarce. Your best bet is to try and find your favorite weapons in your travels when they're offered for free, rather than purchasing them through store clerks. They will oftentimes come at the expense of upgrades to your weapons and other useful items. Making sure you have the cash to purchase health while also getting the weapons you need is paramount. You will also find scrolls of power that will allow you to upgrade one of 3 skill traits, and they each add health to your health bar. There's Brutality in red, Tactics in purple, and Survival in green. You'll see weapons with one or more of these colors. Whichever of these traits you prioritize, the associated weapons will deal more damage. This is the most crucial balancing act. You see, if you go all in on one color, your weapons sharing the same color will be lethal, but your health will be tiny. Evenly distributing scrolls between the 3 colors will grant you lots of hit points, making you very strong, but your attacks won't do as much damage. It's up to you to find a happy median to grant you lots of health and powerful attack stats. Also, make sure to scour each and every biome for their scrolls to level yourself up as much as possible. I'm currently playing at 4 boss cells, and have used only a few scrolls per skill trait before going all in on survival. My favorite weapons are the War Spear, the Baseball Bat, and the Ice Bow. The sub-weapons I choose are any of the standard grenades, and the Barricade, which looks like a plaque and can be used to make floating orbs around you that deal additional damage. That loadout has been my most successful so far, but I encourage all of you to explore, try new weapons, and find a combination that works best for you. If you're still lost, do what I did and watch people play it online and try to recreate your own version of what they do. I live streamed myself playing Dead Cells a few weeks back, and someone in the chat gave me some useful tips. There's always a very active subreddit filled with people helping each other out as well. I know just reading the comments gave me really cool ideas that helped me out big time. Yes, I'll go with freaking survival. Yeah, suck it. Since its release in 2017, Dead Cells has remained quite popular, getting lots of post-launch support, including a multitude of downloadable content adding weapons and biomes, as well as more story like the Castlevania DLC. It's pretty neat to see one of the originators of the Metroidvania genre partner with arguably the best game to be slapped with the title. It's a complex game that doesn't require much out of the player right away. After playing for the excellent combat, I stayed for the rich customizations and unlockables. The most brilliant aspect of Dead Cells is how you can make a deep run, die, and immediately feel pumped to do it all over again. Not many other roguelikes get that right. If you give it a chance, you may end up finding this is one of those games you come back to every now and again, like me. If dying over and over to progress sounds like a chore, don't knock it before you try it, believe me. With excellent sprite work, great combat, lots of weapon choices, and a gameplay loop that always changes in procedurally generated levels that make exploring exhilarating and fun, the Switch version has a slight bit of slowdown on rare occasions, but no other detractors besides that. If you can find it on any system, it's not a very expensive game, often going for around $20 used, and I hear the DLC is amazing. I cannot recommend Dead Cells enough.